This is the 7th generation BMW 3 Series, codenamed G20. And even in this increasingly SUV-dominated world, this mid-sized sedan remains BMW's most important and top-selling car. And in a lot of ways, it's kind of the spiritual heart of the brand. It's bigger than before, yet lighter and stiffer. It's more dynamic than ever, at least according to the manufacturer claims. It's got a bold new look that has a lot more going on in the metal than the pictures might show. And inside, it's got some BMW first technology that's really interesting to get your head around. We're here in the beautiful country of Portugal getting our first taste test. Come on, I'll show you a bit more. The new 3 Series is 76mm longer than before and a smidgen wider. Like a Golf or 911, the design of BMW's Hero only changes gradually over decades, and the G20 follows this rulebook. The kidney grille has a single-piece surround flanked by new LED headlights above sportier intakes. There are new L-shaped LED taillights, twin exhaust pipes and a revised Hofmeister kink surrounding freestanding rear side window glass. The tout side profile features new sheet metal shaping, with an upturned lower moulding rising at the rear towards the strong shoulder line. Like any good rear-wheel drive sedan, it retains the long bulging bonnet, cab backward silhouette and short overhangs. So the first thing you notice jumping in the cabin is it's quite a bit roomier than before. It's got a longer wheelbase, it's wider, it's taller and it's longer. The back seat space is quite good. I'm 194 centimetres and I fit, which is not something that's typical of a rear drive sedan of this size. The instrument cluster is quite similar to what it's been in the past. It's very driver oriented, but there's a lot less going on. It's quite a clean interface, fewer buttons than before. It's running BMW's 7th generation operating system, still controlled by the iDrive dial. You can also use voice control, buttons on the steering wheel, gesture control, as you can see there. You've got a new digital instrument cockpit display. It's also got a personal assistant, a bit like Amazon Alexa or Google Home or Mercedes-Benz's MBUX system. Hey, BMW.
Hello, what can I help you with?
I'm cold.
Which temperature shall I set?
25.
I set the temperature in the driver's area on 25 degrees Celsius.
One of the cool things I particularly like about it is you can change the name. So you don't have to say BMW, you can call it whatever you want. Hey Klaus, hey Charlie, hey Kari McCarface, whatever you want. That's really cool. A lot of this tech is obviously going to be optional, but it's really nice to see what BMW is doing. Got a wireless charging pad there, every level of driver autonomy that's currently available, level 2 stuff, so lane assist, blind spot assist, radar cruise, can drive by itself below 60 k's an hour, all of the tech you can imagine. BMW's really tried to make this quite future-proof, and I think they've nailed it in that regard. Really impressive interior, but of course, the most important thing about any 3 Series is how it drives. So we're behind the wheel of the new 3 Series, and the key to any iteration of the 3 Series is how it drives. BMW stakes its brand on being the ultimate performance machine. They've done a lot to make this car drive better than before. It's stiffer by about 50% or at least 25%, depending on what part of the body and chassis you're looking at. It's up to 55 kilos lighter than before, even though it's bigger, which helps a lot. A lot more aluminium is used. It's got a revised electronic steering system. There were some complaints before that the old motor-driven steering didn't exactly have the most feel in the world, and they've improved that. And they've also got passive lift-related dampers that they've fitted. It's a new way that BMW's come up with to control the compression and rebound on the dampers at the front and the rear without having to have modes to change, from sporty to soft. And I have to say, so far, it's really impressed me. It's got these great, rather than bouncing off the bump stops in this abrupt way, it's got a much more cushy, soft way of riding, and it settles really quickly, and it's quite composed at all times. It's also proven to be really nimble. It's stiffer and lighter, as I said, still got the 50-50 weight distribution, and throwing this car around has been a delight. Yes, it's a bigger car than before, but it still shrinks around you and feels very much like a performance car, as any 3 Series should. Obviously, if you're a bit more into the dynamism side, you can option an M Sport rear differential. You can option different electronically actuated adjustable dampers from comfort to sport if you want. There's also an M340i X-Drive performance version with a fully variable all-wheel drive system. Shock horror, all-wheel drive in a 3 Series, I know. What is the world coming to? In terms of engines, there's a whole suite of petrols and diesels as ever. Right now we're driving the one that's the top seller in Australia, accounts for about 50% of sales. It's the 330i. Now it's still got a 2-litre turbo petrol engine, but it's been uprated to 190 kilowatts of power and 400 newton meters of torque. 400 newton meters of torque. That's 50 newton meters more than its predecessor, and it's ample for a car of this size. You've still got your 8-speed automatic from ZF, got a wider ratio spread than before. This one has paddle shifters as well. It's still smooth as butter. Different driving modes change the throttle calibration, the gearbox mapping, and the ESC tune, so you've still got a bit of variability there. Topping the launch range is the rear-biased all-wheel drive M Performance 340i X-Drive using a new force-fed 3-litre inline-6 with 275 kilowatts and 500 newton meters of torque. The 0 to 100 time is just 4.4 seconds. Around the middle of 2019, the new 215 kilowatt 330e plug-in hybrid will appear. This petrol-electric offer has an improved pure EV range of up to 60 kilometres thanks to a denser lithium-ion battery pack and a fuel use claim of 1.7 litres every 100 kilometres on the combined cycle. To say I'm impressed by this car is an understatement. BMW knows that the one car it can't stuff up is the 3 Series. It's so vital to its brand. And all of those smaller criticisms that we had with the outgoing model, I think the company's really addressed here. I'm actually kind of at my wit's end trying to find ways that this car isn't delivering on what it's supposed to deliver on. As I think and deliberate, I'm sure things will come to me, but man, this is a good effort. And I suspect that the Mercedes C-Class, the Audi A4, the Jaguar, and all the other rivals in this class are going to have their work cut out for them keeping up with the new 3 Series. Anyway guys, as always, head over to caradvice.com to read the written component of this review for more information, where I can go into more detail, and leave us a comment below and let us know what you think.